What are your future plans regarding DHS investigations?
So let me talk a little bit about what I've learned about the Department of Human Services. So most of you have followed the Natalie Finn case and the tragic starvation of her. And what I don't often talk about, and what I will talk about, is she also had two siblings that were found in that room with her, and they were equally starved and equally close to death. The Department of Human Services, she died on October 24th of 2016. The Department of Human Services entered the home with law enforcement, West Des Moines Police, on August 18th of 2016. And at the time, the DHS worker knew that she was unhealthy, thin, that the children were all thin. And she was concerned about it, and talked to the county attorney about it, and they made a decision based upon the fact that there was adequate food in the house, and the children, of course, did not complain about not being able to eat. They made a decision to not start the China process with respect to her. And as a result, as a result of a lot of things and a lot of people dropping the ball, including calls for mandatory reporters, school nurses, school principals, neighbors, the Department of Human Services not investigating those cases. As a result, we know the outcome October 24th when her heart stopped beating. Her siblings, by the way, were hospitalized and took a lot of time in the hospital to bring them back to life and to actually allow them to build their muscles and strength back up. At the time she was found dead, she was wearing a diaper. She weighed 67 pounds and she couldn't stand or walk or do anything. So that's how bad it got in that household. But that household wasn't the only household. There was Malaya Knapp, the young lady that came forward and talked about running away from the home where she was also adopted, and so she was beaten and abused for years at the hands of her adoptive parents. And the state of Iowa subsidized both the Finn family to the tune of about more than $10,000 a child each year, and the Knapp family, and the state subsidized that family to the tune of $10,000 a child. I think they had more than 40 or 50,000 a year coming in just from the subsidized adoptions. So what's going on in our system is since Governor Branstad took office in 2010, there are 1,135 fewer DHS employees today as a result of him squeezing the department, and again, terminating people and laying people off, and they're down 1,135 employees, and we should not be surprised to know that the budget that the Republicans just passed has a $16 million cut to field investigations. So, I stood on the floor. I've torn clothes over the fact that we can't get a government oversight meeting. We can't get the governor to do anything except criticize me for pursuing this. We can't get legislative oversight to call meetings and bring in department heads and ask. So what I've learned about the Department of Human Services is they're run by a feeble old man by the name of Chuck Palmer, who is equally as corrupt as incompetent. Equally as corrupt as incompetent. He is both corrupt and incompetent. And what he has done is he has put people in charge of the department that hear no evil, see no evil, and know no evil. And short of a kid showing up dead, they basically are not doing their job. And the employees that are on the front lines, they know they're in trouble. They know these kids are in trouble. Their caseloads are so excessive that nobody could do what they're trying to do. And they're spending so much of their time, in my opinion, pursuing money to basically break up families that really need to be fixed. There's a lot of substance abuse in our families. Rather than curing the problem at the family level, sending mom or dad to substance abuse treatment and working on a reunification plan for the family and having the kids temporarily in foster care of either a grandparent or another family member, they're pursuing placement of these kids into permanent residences. There's about almost $13 million of federal money that the department gets each time they do a removal of a kid from a home and then place them into a foster or adoptive family's home. And so that is a great incentive for the department to break up families that need to be fixed. Usually when a family gets to DHS, it's because there's a drug problem, a mental health problem, undiagnosed, or something going on. But many times, they're not taking the path of fixing the problem. They're taking the path of placing the kids into new permanent arrangements. And so the interesting thing about Department of Human Services, from what I've learned, is if you pull here, something happens here, and if you pull here, something happens there. And so we're trying to get a handle on it. We've been having people that are close to the case come forward and talk about the systematic problems within the department, everything from falsification of reports that are being delivered to judges, to guardian ad litems that are not showing up in court to defend a kid and to be their protector. What we're doing to our children in our state is unconscionable. And I told them on the floor of the Senate, I said, you guys are no longer the pro-life party, you're the pro-birth party, and you don't give a damn what happens to these kids after they're born. And I believe that, and I've said it to them, so I'm not saying anything to you that I haven't said to them. They are turning their heads, and they are allowing this abuse to occur, and they're dumb, fat, and happy. That's all I can tell you, from the top of the administration on down, DHS especially. But you've got a lot of good people in the department, a lot of social workers who went into the field because they love kids and they want to do right by children. And they're writing to me, sharing their stories. We had dozens of them sharing their stories, telling me about just how bad a work environment they're living in, and nobody's doing anything to help them. And so we're going to continue to pursue. We responded. We asked the department to come forward and answer questions. They're stonewalling us. I'm told that Chuck Harmer is finally going to retire with Branstad, so maybe they'll get on the same slow boat to China. But that will be an improvement. But we've got to make sure whoever they put in the department is actually wanting to shake things up. And we're obviously very hopeful that Kim Reynolds will be different than Terry Branstad, but we're also, we also recognize that you did need a spatula to spread the two of them apart. So I don't know whether her policies are going to be more directed towards helping children or not, but we need to demand that, and we need to stay on the Department of Human Services. It's interesting, when I post things on Facebook about human services and children in need, I think we don't get a lot of reaction from people. We get some reaction, but we don't get a lot of reaction. Let me tell you what I think is going on. When I talk about Natalie Finn dying on a hardwood floor with no carpet and no bedding, where she laid for essentially the last 2 months of her life in diapers, people get uncomfortable with that. People get uncomfortable with the fact that it could happen in Iowa. The reality is, we have to talk about our kids in crisis in our state. And we have to talk about the fact that kids are going to school hungry. And hunger is a big issue. And mental health is a big issue. And substance abuse is a big issue in these kids' lives. And most people don't want to hear about unpleasant things. And most people don't want to talk about unpleasant things. But the reality is, we all have to talk about them because the Republicans are not going to talk about them. So if we don't talk about them, nobody else will.
And they'll be all forgotten. That's why we have to keep it up.
That's right.
Thanks to Senator McCoy for keeping it in the limelight, because we cannot give up.
Yes. Gary?
I'd just like to say, I live in the folks' community. Like I said, I live out in the Pleasantville area. Former Teamster representative and so forth, retired. Got grandkids of my own. So Matt, I've never met you, and I've never met you. But I think you guys have done a great job. I want to say this to you, though. This conversation about DHS and so forth, you know as well as anybody, there's probably a lot of real good employees in that organization,
Yes.
just like any company. So I'm just here to say, I came out here today for this reason. Being retired, I have two grandsons, 7 and 8, and it was very moved to see you getting involved with that process there. So keep up the good work. The only recommendation I would say that I would like to see you give your colleagues, again, I can't emphasize this enough, keep this up because they have provided the Republicans with a huge agenda of campaign material. I mean, the list is so long, it's like an encyclopedia. But what I'd like to have you do is stay on top of it. I'm very pleased to come out here to see that you're getting involved in that. But don't let things get, because I know what Kim Reynolds is doing. Nor mine. I know how she thinks. She's hoping that this will all kind of just float away, go down the stream, and be forgotten. So again, I just want to say thank you to you guys. And tell your colleagues that you have a focus group, keep FaceTime in front of the media at all costs to remind people of these unfortunate stories we have here. That's all I got to say.
I'm glad you said you're a grandpa because actually grandparents are a big part of solving the problems too that are going on with the Department of Human Services because a lot of times a parent will have a child that is a young mother or young father, and they're having mental problems, they're having substance abuse problems, and the family needs to be treated for mental and substance abuse issues, and a grandparent. Who better than a grandparent to take care of children? But what we're finding is the Department of Human Services is not automatically going to the grandparents and placing those grandchildren with the grandparents, and that is something that I think we're really missing the boat on, because I think grandparents are a big part of the solution. We need to use more of them.